Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV, where of course every week we take a look at what's happening with in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Well, it's been a rather wet and rainy weekend, but nevertheless the Club Rugby action continued. We're going to take a look at some interesting games for you tonight, but of course before we get started, Score Energy Drinks, of course, on board with Western Province Club Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. So we'll explain to you how you can win yourself a case of Score a little bit later during the course of the show. Of course, MChem 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. That's also coming up a little bit later. And of course, Decro Paints. Decro is, of course, on board with Cape Rugby TV, and we'll do a little DIY video for you a little bit later during the course of the show. Decro, of course, brings paint to life. Folks in studio with me, welcome back, Jerome Parvater.
Good to be back again, JP, and yeah, it was quite a wet weekend for rugby, but the teams played, so it's good.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at how you're dressed at the moment. You're looking rather... I think we're both dressing warmer than usual. Has the weather had an impact? Because my understanding is a couple of games, in fact, because of waterlogged fields, a couple of games got cancelled.
Yeah, games got cancelled, and as the weather look, it seems like a few games are going to be cancelled again this week.
Yeah.
The fields are wet, and I just saw a video of the field in Stellenbosch. The river is flooding the fields.
Really?
So it's terrible. Yeah.
Well, I know that the Bellar Vineyards game was postponed. I saw the field. We saw the field last week when Kales River were playing. I think that was just also one of those scenarios where, what do? Do you play or not play? There's also obviously a big impact on the fields if you do play.
Yeah, if you do play, it can take a long time for the field to get ready again to play again. So it's obviously, if teams have to cancel, it's better to cancel.
Yeah. Right, folks, so we've got a couple of games for you on the cards tonight. St. George's travelled to Unimill. We're going to take a look at the first half there in a second. Tygerberg were up against Hamilton's. Tygerberg, of course, playing away against Hamilton's. And we went down this week. We told you there was going to be a big derby between Retreat and Rocklands. We went down there and managed to get some footage and do a couple of interviews where we spoke to Ryan Henry and Habit Noble, both coaching staff at the game. But let's go now. First half, St. George's Unimall. right, there we go. Jerome, first half highlights, St. George's, Unimil.
Yeah, I must say it's pretty even the first half. What I can pick up, it's normal. Unimil with the big backer forwards. I saw a couple of mauls there, and St. George's couldn't really stop it instead of giving a penalties away every time Unimil maul. But St. George's, when they have the ball in hand, they played and they actually got over the advantage line. Saw a penalty there and saw one try. So it's pretty even in the first half. But you can see Unimil is fully in control of the set pieces.
So I think the barometer had it in favour of Unimil. The fan factor, maybe in the weather today, the fan factor is not counting nowadays, maybe as much as it could, having the home ground advantage. We've said before, St. George's fans like to travel.
Yeah, still, I mean, it was wet, but if you look at the game, you can still see the people watching the game, and fans are still going out. So that's a plus for and like you say, St. George's people are always at the game. So
yeah, let's quickly take a look at some of the other results then from the weekend. But remember, we are going to go to the second half. St. George's against Unimil, or should we say Unimil against St. George's? We're going to go to the second half in a second. But let's quickly take a look at the results. In fact, we should probably start hiding the results. Kuils River, of course, went down to Durban, 43 points to 17. We're going to take a look at the Hamilton's Tygerberg game in a second. There is your result, Unimil, St. George's, but we'll give you that result in a second. And of course, Helderberg, 28-25 over Brackenfell and Villages with a win over False Bay, 31-26. All right, so a couple of big results in there this weekend. If we take a look at some of the results that we're not showing, Jerome, Helderberg, Brackenfell. Brackenfell has shown a good performance this week, but Helderberg, we see that they're challenging in Super League A. We're going to take a look at logs in a second, but they've had a couple of breaks. They, of course, had a big win over Villagers. Helderberg look like they're one of the big threats this year. Yeah,
and I mean, I think the barometer was also spot on. It's set in the favor of Helderberg, because we know the way Helderberg is playing. But I mean, Brackenfell unlucky there, 3 points, 4 points, not to win the game there. And well, it's pretty close. And I mean, Brackenfell and Helderberg is two of the teams pushing in Super A.
Yeah, one of the games here that also jumps out for me is False Bay Villages. Also a narrow loss there against Villages. Villages has shown that they've got some serious players in their team. False Bay is busy rebuilding. To come out with a performance like that, that's not bad for False Bay.
Yeah, I think you're never happy with losing, but I think that's a good result for them where they were in the beginning of the season, and we know Villages is a quality side, so it's also like 5 points in the game.
Yeah. Well, we will take a look at the log in a bit. Remember, we're going to take a look at the highlights, second half highlights between St. George's and Unimil. We're still going to take a look at the highlights between Tygerberg and Hamilton's. And of course, as I mentioned earlier on, we managed to get down to Rocklands, where they were playing against Retreat, when we definitely think of that as a derby match. Remember, you can win yourself a case of Score during the course of the show, a case of Score energy drinks. We're going to explain to you how to do it, going onto our Facebook page. And we're also going to announce last week's winner and show you the team as well, which we showed last week. But it's pretty easy, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. So go to our Facebook page and enter the competition. Don't forget the barometer comes up a little bit later, powered by Infinetics, of course, better solutions, better business. They are the official IT supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a sec.